What's going on, everybody? It's CryptoVision here, backing out with another crypto market deep dive. Today's video, we're going to be checking out ACH, Alchemy Pay. So if you like today's video, hit that like button, subscribe for more. If you're interested in the free Discord, it'll be linked in the description. Bears, bulls, neutrals, everyone is welcome. I also offer a paid Patreon membership where we go into deep dives, where we check out different assets, where you get trading view indicators, and a bunch more. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we got ACH here on the weekly chart. We've had this bars pattern for a while that we took, and we are looking for, at this point we've had the trickle, right? We're gonna add some circles down through here, right? We've had this trickle down effect down through here, right through there, bada bing, something like this, where you are tanking pretty good. We're gonna copy this bad boy. I'm gonna put this right over here. Perfecto. We had that same thing coming on right through here. We're gonna put one more. That same concept right through here. Okay, where you're kind of just trickling down, right? Where you've corrected. You've had this was a pretty bad capitulation. Not so much of a capitulation, but pretty drastic capitulation. Kind of not fallen, but just leaking down. Not really doing much, just kind of leaking. And then down through here, we've really been leaking. This is more brutal, in my opinion, than just getting it over with, right? At least over here, you got it over with. You went sideways, you went up. Over here, you're really not doing much, right? You're just kind of hanging out, drizzling down, wearing bulls out, keeping bears alive, keeping bears ecstatic and euphoric, right? Because if crypto, the CMC right now for crypto market, index for the fear and greed, it is at least yesterday, it was at 6. So if we inverse that rating, we'd be looking at a 94 greed. So once you start to think about that, hey, fear and greed index is at 6. We have the truflation. So we have inflation now at under 1%. Okay. So truflation, if you don't know, is a front runner. It's a leading indicator of the actual rates that the Fed gets a hold of. It's like any government agency. It's like the DMV, right? It just takes a long time to process information to get things moving. The Fed's a little bit behind. The Fed is still noting we're slightly above 2%. Truflation is saying we're down below 1%. Okay, so we have risk on environments starting to occur. Okay, once we get down below that 1%, 0%, we're going to risk deflation. So we're going to have to print money. So either way, we're going to have to print money. The Fed just injected $10 billion today. It's not a lot when you think about the overall size of the markets that we're looking for investments in. Traditional stocks, precious metals, cryptocurrency, even real estate. That's not a lot, but in terms of just printing money and adding it to the market, it is happening. It is not happening at a rate in which we're seeing liquidity skyrocket in any way, shape, or form, but it is happening, and there is some other good information that I will save to the very end. But in terms of price action, we got to dive into price action. Okay, so we've had these lower levels down here for a while. We're actually bouncing right off one of these lower levels. No hindsight, we put these up previously. I don't even remember the last time I made a ACH video. Let's see, let's check this out. January 13th, so back through here, up through here. Okay, so right up through here. Okay, that was the last time we made the video. We've come right back down. We've invalidated the 1-2. So there's no setup right now. There's no setup. Yes, it's a falling knife. So, as always, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. A falling knife, you can try to time the bottom. You can layer in, try to time the bottom DCA in and keep going. Or you can be, right, there's two options. Or you can be passive. You can wait for a 1-2 setup. See if it actually stays valid. And then you hop in when it goes up. Right, because until that happens, you're not just going to get a crazy move, right? You had something like this, and then you had a move. You had something like this, then a move, right? This one was a little bit more just because of how bad the sell-off was. You have this 1-2, then a move. Okay, so it does happen, right? People just think, okay, it's gonna. I'm FOMO. Oh no, FOMO. It's gonna go. ACH is gonna go up to 3 cents, 5 cents, $1, whatever. It needs a setup first. So having patience, making sure you're positioned and disciplined is always, in my opinion, is always at the forefront of a strategy that requires. Not requires, but involves risk on assets. When you're investing in risk on assets, highly volatile assets, crypto, even low leverage stocks, you need to have a plan. And if you're interested in, what I use and what keeps me grounded in a visual aspect where everything is in one area where I can see all of my investments, I can see what I'm risking to the ratio of the reward. You can check it out on the Discord. I offer two options. There's a beginner's option and there's an advanced option. They're automated. It's a leveling system where you can keep everything grounded and leveled while you're risking investments, because it's always a risk. Nothing is a guarantee, right? You might have a higher probability of a breakout, right? 1-2, higher probability that we're going to see some higher prices. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. Just like this, we're looking to build a 1-2. What happened? You fall through, you cancel it out. Now you got to rebuild it. Okay, so we're looking for a 1-2 setup. We have green on the charts, right? Green on the charts. We're actually bouncing right off of 7086. We had 7011. Pretty close. We had this little range right in here that we were looking to bounce. So that was if you follow the channel, got in. You're up 10%. You're up 10%, 8%, down off the lows. We're looking for a green dot on the Fu Manchu. No green dot yet, so still waiting on that. This right here isn't the greatest sign. I don't like so far this. We need a bounce off this MACD. So, MACD is a laggard. It's a lagging indicator. It's not something that I'm going to use to enter trades or to get out of trades. It's more of a confirmation. Okay, I got out of the trade. Okay, the MACD is now showing bearish momentum. Okay, I got into a trade. Now the MACD is showing bullish momentum. It's more so a confirmation to me than any kind of indicator that I use to enter or get out of trades. In terms of the RSI, yes, I know you see it if I see it because I'm blind. We got this breakout of the RSI or the moving average. Does it mean anything? It is Tuesday. We still need to close above, back test, and then go. What happened through here is we broke out. Yes, you broke out. Was great. What happened though? What happened on your breakout? Were you able to hold the back test? No, you weren't. You fell through. And then you gotta come back and do it again. Okay, but you are coming down to a point. A lot of alts are where you're coming down to a point where you're coming down to a point, and then you're just gonna go. Are we going all the way to June? Who knows? All right, time really isn't my thing. I know I'm betting on the macro, and the macro says we're gonna get interest rate cuts. Inflation is dropping. Risk on assets are gonna be here. The dollar is being devalued. Every time we print money, the dollar gets devalued. And so when you have low interest rates, the dollar will eventually be devalued. It's the 4-year cycle. It follows money. That's what it does. With these tariffs, with everything that has been going on. And what people keep dismissing is the fact that we've been in a technical recession since 2022. So I think, a lot of people are saying, hey, we're about to enter a recession. We're about to enter a recession. We're about to enter a recession. We're about to exit, or we're getting out. These are the birthing pains of leaving a recession. Is you have to, we're contracting so much. We're contracting so much. Then we're going to expand. The ability for the markets to kind of shed the fat, shed the excess of a bloated market, right? The market was bloated by over printing money, which led to overinflation. Okay, that's the way you got to think of the markets is, okay, if there's too much money in the markets that isn't really helping the markets anymore, we got to take that money out of the markets, get the real value of assets, not inflationary value of the assets, get some real value of the assets, decrease inflation, then we can start bloating those prices up again. It's not just crypto, it's traditional stocks. Precious metals, they've been running because of the risk-on environment of both traditional stocks and crypto. That's the safe haven right now while inflation is being reduced and contraction is occurring. So waiting on the green dot on the Fu Manchu. Does it mean we're going to go to Valhalla? No, but there's signs of reversals. Once you get these green dots, the potential reversals. You're not going to reverse on a red dot, that's for sure, but you reverse on green dots. Right, pretty self-explanatory. We had this bullish divergence. So we need some kind of bullish divergence where, you have a higher low, print a green dot right up through here, and then you have a lower low. Okay, we would have a higher low, and we would have a higher low. Hidden bullish divergence, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we need. We need that. Everything is set up for that. It's not just ACH. Many altcoins are set up like that now, and I'll get into the, what's going on and why I think that is going to happen. So in terms of where, you saw the addition of more price targets, right? When you got into the daily, these price targets were here, and what did we do? We came up. We created January 13th. So down through here, so January 13th, this is why you subscribe to the channel. This is why you join the Discord. This is where we created the video. You came right up to this level without hindsight, didn't change anything. You came up to 12906. Close 120. What about the high? 12945. What about this one? 12932. I mean, that's pretty good. If I'm going to be honest, that is some excellent work. I'm pretty honest with myself. If I have a bad call, I'm like, hey, that's a really bad call. That's why we have stop losses in place. That's why we have early take profits, right? Missed it by a mile. It tanked by a mile. But when I call something good, I'm gonna let it be known. This was a great call. The choppiness of it didn't look great, right? Just choppy, not like a clear setup. So, that is when we were going up. That's kind of worrisome when we see things like this. That's when we're like, okay, we need to make sure we have early take profits, and we would have hit a take profit level right through there. The fact that what are these? These are probably the early take profits on the 4 hour that we had from January 13th, maybe even earlier. December 9th. I had these on December 9th because I also made a video on December 9th. These are probably from December 9th, if I'm being honest, down through here. Yep, these are from December 9th. So we're going to get rid of these. The fact that we have invalidated our levels, invalidated our levels, I'm going to leave our current levels where they're at. All right, so we got a bunch of EMAs down through here. We got this 12906, really trying to get above. Once you get above this 12906, then we're looking to, form a 1-2, right? This is a $75 million asset. The 1-2 might be pretty deep. Maybe you're 0.5, maybe you're 786. Worst case, you're 886. But you need this 1-2 setup. Right, you need that 1-2 setup, and then you can get moving and grooving, and you start shocking the world and making people wish that they stayed in crypto. Okay, we're at the ultimate destination of capitulation. I know it rhymed. I'm gonna phrase it and coin it. CryptoVision 808. That's what we've been doing. We've been capitulating, and so you have. I mean, when we have things like this is why I'm still, not overall like bullish in the short term, but overall bullish in the macro. Is you have so much bullish divergence. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 instances of bullish divergence on the Fu Manchu. Okay, you're getting. I mean, at this point, you are getting. No, that's not it. This kind of sucked. Coming up through, you're not getting overbought. I'm just looking. I haven't looked at it for almost a month. Wow, it's February. Yeah, it's February 10th. All right, you are getting higher lows, and you are getting lower lows. Okay, same kind of concept, but at this point and then at this juncture, you just need to stop the bleeding after you make a move. Right? You make a move. Right? You make a nice move, and then you give it right back. You make a nice move, and then you give it back and then plus some. So, at some point, these levels where people are shorting, right? People are going to get caught off guard. They're just building up liquidity, right? Building up shorts. Maybe take out some shorts here, build up more shorts. Take out more shorts here, build up more shorts. And then you go and take it out. So that's what they're doing. They're just building liquidity to the upside. They're building liquidity to the upside. Yes, you have a green dot on the daily. Yes, you were getting some glimpses of green right here on the Fu Manchu. That typically indicates some bullishness. Has bullishness happened? No. There is bullish divergence, right? With whatever that has an effect on the market, it will turn around. You know, if we're talking about stablecoin dominance, if we're talking about things of that nature, bullish divergence, it plays out bullish. Bearish divergence, it plays out bullish. Crypto altcoins, bullish divergence plays out bearish. Bearish divergence plays out extremely bearish. So right now, what we got going on is we're down below the zero again. You know, our MACD, yes, you're showing some slowing bearish momentum. Yes, you're showing slowing of bearish momentum. Yes, you're crossing above the moving average on the RSI. It is Tuesday. We're looking to finish the week green. We're looking for a green week to build on. Until then, risk management, making sure, you know, you have the ability to get in and get out of trades. Don't be married to an asset. The price doesn't care about your feelings, okay? Just ensure that you have a plan, you stick to your plan, you have some take profit levels, you have some stop loss levels, okay? And then, you know, I do want to check in on this 4-hour chart real quick. You know, you have a green dot, you're getting back. I mean, what do we got through here? Trying to get back above the 4-hour on the zero. That'd be nice. I mean, ACH looks like it wants to, you know, it looks like it wants to do something. Maybe you have a 1-2 right here. Maybe you have a 1-2 right here. You know, I'm going to take the retracement first. What did you get down to? That looks like about the 618. A little bit past, a little bit below the 382. Maybe the 0.5. Maybe the 0.5. Yeah, just below the 382.5. Okay, so you've come down in your 3-wave move down. So you got this A wave. You do have a B wave. So maybe you come back down in a C. All right, you have like your 3-wave move. Come back down in your C. And then you go. All right, and then you go. Staying above this 382 is really good though. When you stay above a 382, it's a very shallow correction. It's very shallow. So you do have, I mean, you do have a 3-wave move. This doesn't, if you have a 1-2 setup, this does not look like what a third wave should start like. It's just not, that's not what a third wave is. A third wave is the most impulsive. You got to impulse out. Right here, this looks corrective in nature. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this up through here. Put that right there. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. We're going to leave this on the 4-hour. I mean, at this point of the juncture, I do kind of want to throw something up right there. There we go. So we're just we're gonna see what's going on with this. This kind of looks just like a nice little, you know, little channel. We're gonna see what happens with it. You break above this channel, get up through here. Then you're going to look like you're making a move for the third wave. In terms of some, I'm going to leave this on here so we can come back to it. Maybe at the end of the week, I would definitely update the Discord. That's a perk for the Patreon members through Discord is you're going to get updates, right? We break above this, you're going to get an update. Okay? So, you know, I'll come back. I'll check the charts. I'll make sure that, you know, keeping track of that. But 786, we're looking really, yeah. I mean, can't even make it up. Really need to get above the 786, 886. This is that resistance zone. It typically takes that first time to get through. So maybe you're in a 1-2. You're in an A, B, C, something like that. For your third, come down for your fourth, come back down, back test that area. And then you go get your fifth and you come up here. Like that. You know, that would be a nice 1. And then you got to come back for a 2 though. All right, then you got to come back for a 2 and not invalidate yourself and not, you know, just not be like that. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. I'll put a box around it. Nice little box around right here. Bada bing. So that's what I got for ACH. Looking for it's kind of looking corrective through here. You know, there's 2 scenarios that we got. We got the scenario where you're in this B wave. You're looking for this C wave down, this correction. Possibly come down through here, take out this low. Okay, unless it's a flat pattern where you know you have you just have a higher low like this, some type of flat pattern. You had a higher low, and that's your correction, and then you can go. Okay. In terms of Bitcoin dominance has been, you know, Bitcoin dominance has been doing Bitcoin dominance things. Okay, Bitcoin dominance has been doing Bitcoin dominance things. I just need to edit something real quick. 59.93. What is this one? Oh, that's part of the box. 60.25. What about 60.25? No, 60.25. Don't need that one. Cool. Bitcoin dominance. We have closed down below this trend line. We've closed down below this trend line. Did I move it? I probably did on accident when I used the mobile app. I always am closing down below and just moving it around a little bit. Right, just moving it around a little bit. I definitely want to get right there, just like that. So we've closed down below. This is a pretty bullish candle. This is what you want to see on crypto. You want to see candles like this. That's nice, right? You have that bullish, you have that bearish start, that bearish wick, and then you just come right back up. So you have your wick built, coming back up. You're down below your 50 and your 20. You do have some bearish divergence occurring, right? So what we got now is you have some lower highs. So you have higher highs on the RSI. So you're getting higher highs, okay? So you're moving up. But price has been moving down. Oh, that was pretty bad. You know me. That was supposed to be an arrow. Okay, so price is moving down. Strength is moving up. So what does that mean? That means even though I know it's a relative chart, right? You can't just go and buy Bitcoin dominance. You can't go buy Bitcoin dominance. It's a relative chart. It's based on the market cap, Bitcoin's market cap relative to the rest of crypto. So no, it's not. It doesn't act as, in a sense, it doesn't act exactly the way that your traditional markets do, traditional charts do. But you do have a red dot on the Fu Manchu. You are below EMAs. You are below this 59.93 level where you've come up and rejected already. So you got that double rejection. And you're kind of just fluttering down here below the zero, not really doing much. We did the same thing right through here. And what did we get? We got that November drop. We did the same thing right here, really not doing much. And we got that July drop. So yes, I'm expecting a drop for Bitcoin dominance. Though the real nail in the coffin will be closing down below this moving average on the RSI. As you see, we've bounced off. Oh, see, that's how I move stuff like that on accident. See, we've bounced off the moving average of the RSI. Is it the end of the world? No, it's not the end of the world, because regardless, you come back through here, you're going to have to bounce and then reject and back test, and then you can go. So that's what I got for Bitcoin dominance. If you're interested in more deep dives, we cover a bunch of stuff. I cover all these charts on the deep dive. All these charts, we get into it. It's I think it's a pretty beneficial series on the overall macro of conditions, not just crypto, but traditional stocks, precious metals, risk on assets, okay? Because I'm not just a crypto guy. I invest in other, assets such as, DJT, ASST, BTOG. I like crypto affiliated stocks as well, and just your traditional stocks. So as always, I do thank you for your time. I thank you for stopping by. If you're interested, like I said, in the free Discord, it'll be linked in the description. Community charts, general chats, things of that nature. You get updates. And then the Patreon membership, take a little bit step forward. It has a lot of perks. If you're interested in that, it all will be in the description below. Have a great rest of your day. Take it easy. Peace.